If SsangYong currently sells cars in your country, then there's a damn good chance you'll be getting the opportunity to buy one of these budget-priced EVs within the next 12 months. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Electric Viking. This is great news here. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back to everyone else. I'm kind of excited, as you can see. SsangYong are working on a series of EVs. They just acquired an electric vehicle company in Korea, South Korea, called Edison Motors, and they were working on EVs for quite a while now. SsangYong bought the company. Now it looks as though there's been spy photos taken of their EVs driving around in Korea. They look production ready right now. It's exciting to see because, as you would know, if SsangYong is for sale in your market, they are incredibly well-priced vehicles coming from this Korean company. By the way, they're working with BYD on these EVs. BYD will be supplying them with lithium iron phosphate Blade batteries. So I'm told, exciting news, another option will be coming very soon. Now, footage just came out within the last 24 hours of the 2022 SsangYong J100, showing the vehicle's rear end and the front with no camouflage. Now, inspired by YouTube's Whooper TV, I'll put a link in the description below. The J100 is very similar to design sketches released last year with upright 3D effect taillights, green and white two-tone paint, spear wheel look tailgate insert, and a contrasting rear pillar. Anyway, all that jargon aside, I think it looks really cool. I like it. It looks just like a normal car. Now, no new details of the model have come out since the last spy photos were shown. Now, the SsangYong brand has become the new owner of Edison Motors, which is a pure electric vehicle company in South Korea. Now, the great news is this vehicle is meant to debut this year. I'm not sure if that'll happen, but they're calling it the 2022 SsangYong J100. So in other words, this model is slated for this year, and you know what? I think there's a good chance it will come to Australia and Korea, South Korea. Not sure what other markets yet, but as soon as I find out, I'll put another video out there, so I'll let you know whether or not it's coming to your market. Now, whether or not this vehicle actually meets its 2022 launch date will depend on the Korean car maker's ability to kind of turn its fortunes around. It's been struggling with its finances recently, and as a result, it's sort of not 100% certain how the company's financial health is, therefore its ability to produce enough of these electric cars to actually get them out into international markets. Now, it's possible the J100, the vehicle you're looking at here, could use an upgraded evolution of the front-wheel drive electric drivetrain powering the new Corando e-Motion, pairing a 140 kilowatt electric motor with a 61.5 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate battery from BYD. Now, the more interesting part of this story is potentially the fact that SsangYong was actually just sold to a bus company in South Korea. Now, this was more than a year after the company entered voluntary receivership and just weeks after announcing a partnership with China's BYD for electric batteries and electric car development. So BYD has actually apparently been working on these cars as well. Now, a report by news outlets Reuters and Yonhap says a consortium led by Edison Motors, a South Korean electric bus and truck manufacturer, is in the process of purchasing SsangYong for 304.8 billion South Korean won. That's around 355 million Australian dollars, or about 270 million US dollars. Now, apparently there's only a final few steps remaining before this actually becomes official. So as you can see, the news I originally got was that the transaction was happening the other way around, but the reality is that Edison, the bus company, electric bus company, is purchasing SsangYong. So the reality is here, SsangYong may very well become a fully electric car company within the next, I'd say, maximum 24 months, based on what's likely to happen, considering this is currently an electric vehicle company buying this brand. They're basically just buying the brand here to be able to sell this company with a known brand in Western markets. Now, this figure the company was bought for is a lot less than the Australian 474 million that Indian giant Mahindra paid for 70% of SsangYong in 2010. That would be about 720 million Australian dollars, or around about 500 million US dollars when adjusted for inflation, when it saved it from bankruptcy back in, well, that was 12 years ago now. But that was only for 70% of the company. So as you can see, Mahindra have lost quite a bit of money on this deal. Now, 12 years later, SsangYong found itself being bailed out again, despite being the third biggest automotive brand in South Korea behind the jointly owned Hyundai and Kia. Now, after more than a decade of ownership and significant investment into new models and electrification, SsangYong made only modest increases in sales under Mahindra's ownership. Highlights include 120,000 SsangYong cars reported as sold globally in 2012 and a peak of 131,000 in 2017 before dropping to 85,000 in 2021, which was a decrease of 22% compared to the prior year. Now, here in Australia, SsangYong sales have actually grown. Sales hit an initial peak in 2011 with 1,700 vehicles sold, followed by declines that saw independent importer Atico pull the plug, stop selling them in 2016. But they returned in 2018 with factory backing, with 3,000 vehicles reported as sold in 2021, which was an increase of 70% over 2020 figures. You can see here, Australians like these budget South Korean vehicles. Now, SsangYong actually posted a profit globally in 2016, its first since 2007, but it reported a loss of Australian 277 million over the first 9 months of 2021. In addition to the debt accrued before the company declared bankruptcy in December 2020, after reporting a claimed 386 million in overdue debt to multiple parties. Now, SsangYong then entered receivership in South Korea in April 2021 with a number of interested parties soon emerging, including American company HAAH Automotive and the aforementioned Edison Motors, who just make electric vehicles. Now, according to Korean news outlet Yonhap, the Edison Motors-led acquisition deal, now granted approval in a court in Seoul, will see SsangYong purchased within the next few weeks. Now, apparently 10% has already been paid by Edison, with the remaining 318 million of finance secured. Now, apparently this money will be paying off the car maker's current debts, though the exact amount of their debts we don't actually know. Now, Edison will reportedly set up a separate company intended to raise between 800 billion and 1 trillion won, which is about 1 billion Australian dollars or 740 million US dollars, to achieve a turnaround within 3 to 5 years, with plans to rehabilitate the SsangYong brand that have to be submitted to a court in South Korea by the 1st of March 2022. Now, under this new ownership, SsangYong will shift its focus 100% to electric vehicles. Great news, with the company showcasing 2 new electric SUVs in development. Both of those are called the aforenamed J100, and also there will be another vehicle called the KR10. Now, new owner Edison Motors has also announced its plans to produce 10 new electric vehicles by 2022, 20 by 2025, and 30 by 2030. It seems very aggressive and optimistic. It's a lot of models, 30 different models by 2030. Now, it's expected that these cars will be sold under Edison branding rather than SsangYong. So I'm not really sure why Edison even bought the company. Now, back to the BYD development. SsangYong partnered with China's BYD for electric car development a while back now. Just days before it was confirmed that Edison Motors acquired the company, SsangYong announced a technological partnership with Chinese car maker BYD to focus on its electric vehicles. Under the partnership, BYD will supply battery packs for an upcoming SsangYong electric vehicle due in 2023, codenamed U100, which is this vehicle here. And it will see the two companies expand their cooperation to join development of battery packs and EV-only production platforms, as recorded by Pulse News. Now, from what I can tell, it looks as though this is basically a BYD vehicle with kind of a SsangYong body put on top of BYD's skateboard. Makes a lot of sense, really. Now, apparently SsangYong sent engineers to BYD's headquarters in Shenzhen in China to enable collaboration to work on the car actually in China at BYD's factory. So what this means is it's likely the new SsangYong U100 battery packs are of BYD's new Blade pack variety, which are the same units that are going to be used for the future Toyota BZ electric car in China, as I reported on several months ago. So great news. Honestly, what does this mean? It means it's going to be a pretty good quality electric car. BYD makes good electric cars, and the battery will be a battery that you would want in your car. So what does this mean for Aussies? Well, it means very likely within the space of 12 months, there's going to be another electric car option here in our market that potentially could be quite affordable. What does it mean for everyone else? I honestly don't know, but hopefully you'll get access to this vehicle as well. I'll let you know as soon as I know. Thanks for watching the channel. Look forward to seeing you again on the next one. Bye-bye.